Good Friday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And welcome to Keep Her Quick, your latest local news and weather commercial free in about 25 minutes or less. We're going to jump right over to weather because Jefferson, finally the sun is coming out to play. Going to be hopefully a gorgeous weekend for folks that want to do anything outdoors.
Yeah, should be a pretty sunny Friday. The weekend is going to feature a few more clouds, but we're going to be looking at fairly calm weather conditions, not looking at precipitation coming our way. So as we take a look at our weather headlines, we will see sunshine and breezy winds on this Friday, but on the whole, it should be a fairly nice day of weather. The weekend, as I was just referencing, will feature a few more clouds in the sky than today, but in general, we are going to be looking at calm weather conditions. Wind will be calm this weekend, and temperatures are going to be seasonal, not straying too far off from average one way or the other. In general, this is the start of what is a pretty stagnant forecast period. There are no big weather makers on the immediate horizon. We will discuss that in more detail coming up here in a few minutes.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning in Kennewick. A woman accused of hitting and killing a pedestrian on November 1st and then fleeing the scene is now in jail. At around 12:15 a.m. on the 1st, 31-year-old Angelica Morfin-Barajas of Richland was on foot when she was hit by a vehicle on Canal Drive near Lyle Street. Police used footage from citizen cameras, traffic cameras, and flock license plate reading cameras to identify a suspect. Yesterday, detectives, the traffic unit, criminal apprehension team, and the SWAT team executed a search warrant in the 700 block of East 15th Avenue in Kennewick, where they arrested a 33-year-old woman. She was booked into the Benton County Jail on charges of felony hit and run, resulting in a death. Detectives are still investigating. If you have any information, contact non-emergency dispatch. And sticking in Kennewick, 2 people are recovering and troopers are investigating after a crash at the base of the Blue Bridge. According to troopers, it happened just before 6:15 Wednesday evening on the Kennewick side of it. A car was driving northbound on Highway 395 when they hit a guardrail. Firefighters worked for around a half an hour to rescue the 2 people from inside the car before taking them to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Troopers are working to determine the cause of the crash. Onto the courtroom this morning. The man accused of stabbing a Pasco school bus driver to death went before a jury for the first time yesterday. KEPR's Aiden Whitaker was at the trial for the opening arguments and brings us the latest.
More than 4 years after the death of 72-year-old school bus driver Richard Lenhart, Joshua Davis is finally standing trial. Jurors heard opening arguments from the prosecutor and the defense as the expected 2-week trial gets underway. Davis has been in custody undergoing mental health evaluations since he was arrested at the scene. He pled not guilty by reason of insanity. Davis has since been diagnosed with schizophrenia, but prosecutors allege that Davis was aware of right from wrong when he stabbed Lenhart.
The state's doctor is going to tell you that he could tell right from wrong, and that he was able to perceive the nature and quality of his acts. At the end of this trial, the state is going to ask you to return a verdict of guilty to the charge of murder in the first degree.
Davis' defense attorneys painted a much different picture, stating that Mr. Lenhart's death is not the only tragedy as a result of what happened. They claim Davis was struggling with his mental health, hearing voices, and under the impression that he was an experimental test subject of the U.S. government.
This case is also a story of another tragedy, one that unfolded long before this day at Longfellow Elementary. It's a story of a young man whose brain slowly and invisibly began to turn against him.
In addition to the opening arguments, several witnesses who made 911 calls and police officers who responded to the scene took the stand on Thursday. The doctors who evaluated Davis are expected to take the stand in the coming days. Here in studio, I'm Aiden Whitaker.
KEPR's Aiden Whitaker, thank you. And sticking in the courtroom, 3 people are being applauded for graduating from the Benton County Adult Drug Court Program. Sean Cameron, Zell Hughes, and John Moore had their records expunged due to completing the program. Many heartfelt stories were shared from these individuals who have gotten support from community organizations like Elijah Family Homes and Seasons Homes. They had representatives at the ceremony to congratulate them, and Zell Hughes shared his story with our team and says drug court changed his life for him and his 6 kids.
It changed my life. You know, when I first came in, I was looking at a prison term it was like 53 months or something like that. So it was either go to prison or do drug court. It's easier to progress when you're working an honest program. You know, honest program starts with going to meetings. It starts with getting a sponsor.
Hughes not only celebrates his graduation, but he now has a home with Elijah Family Homes and is going to school full-time. On to some continuing coverage this morning as the government shutdown sets a new record every day. Some flights could be impacted as soon as today as the Federal Aviation Administration announces it will reduce air traffic by 10% at 40 airports. And among those 40 cities is nearly every airport you can fly to and from, both the Yakima and Tri-City airports. We're talking Seattle, Salt Lake City, Denver, Las Vegas, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Phoenix, and Minneapolis. The Associated Press is reporting that airlines are focusing on small to medium-sized airports for those reductions. Tri-City's Airport Director Buck Taft says they will be affected, but it's unclear what that means for us.
And this is a stressful time, and I feel like we're missing our mark, and it's because of things that are out of our control. And the one positive when I look at it is it's not just us. It's going to be probably your Yakimas, your Walla Wallas, your Seattles, are going, you know, anywhere you go, Spokane, anywhere you go in any state, at some point they're going to be impacted.
Now, Taft says it'll be hard to pinpoint a reason for the canceled flights, whether that be because of the reduced air traffic, staffing shortages, or a range of other variables. According to the airport's website, though, a flight from Salt Lake City and a flight to Seattle have been canceled for today. Meanwhile, it is the 38th day of the government shutdown. Among the federal workers not getting paid are the air traffic controllers and the TSA agents nationwide and here in the Tri-Cities. 4th District Congressman Dan Newhouse met with some of those workers yesterday at the airport. He says he gleaned things are going smoothly under the hood, and he applauded their dedication and shared perspectives, such as working couples at the airport without paychecks, breadwinners counting pennies, and he adds it's not just here in the Tri-Cities.
There's huge impacts if you're looking at the entire country. You know, we've got passenger safety and all the important things that they contribute to, but there's a lot of impacts that become very, very personal. And this is just one segment of what a government shutdown can affect.
Now, Newhouse says his plan is to amplify their voices on Capitol Hill, putting a spotlight on the hurt and struggle federal workers are facing across the nation, adding more congressional members need to understand that they're people too. As for the possible reopening of the government, Newhouse says folks are starting to hit that line in the sand.
Getting reports today that people in the Senate are discussing some potential options that might lead us to reopening the government. It has to happen soon. I'm fully supportive of making that happen, and so I'm encouraging those kind of talks. I'm just starting to see some signs that people have reached, I guess, their level of acceptance here, and are going to decide pretty soon that it's time to get back to work.
And late yesterday, CBS News is reporting that Senate Republicans are planning a different approach to end the shutdown. Sources tell CBS Republicans are hoping to get enough moderate Democrats to vote for a funding bill that would include long-term appropriations bills and also promise to hold a vote on extending health care subsidies. We'll keep an eye on those developments. Meanwhile, there's a new way to help veterans who need it amid the government shutdown. Some local groups for veterans are working to help secure food for former and active military members and their families. The two Yakima-based groups want to ensure that all veterans are fed during the longest government shutdown in history, especially if they lost SNAP benefits.
A couple of weeks ago, the American Legion and the VFW got together because of the government shutdowns and the SNAP benefits being cut. We figured that veterans in a whole would need some help. So we decided that we would do a food drive for them.
Now, you can donate both food and money to the Yakima VFW and American Legion. The details are up on our Facebook page. Switching gears this morning, Pasco City leaders want to hear from anyone who wants to help shape the future of Peanuts Park. The city has designed a quick, less than 5-minute online survey to help them with the final designs for the park. City leaders say funds for the project aren't available yet, but the surveys will help them apply for grants to know how much things would cost.
This is kind of helping us determine the starting point, as you'd say. And again, this is not something that we have full funding for at this point to jump in and do the whole project, but it'll help get us to the point so we know what that cost is going to be for the full project, so that it can help us secure funding for the future.
Now you can head over to our website, keepertv.com, if you want to take that survey. You can also attend the Park Board meeting on November 13th at 6 p.m. in the Pasco City Council chambers if you want to share your thoughts in person. On November 10th, the town of Natchez will be facing their final decision on the Yakima Valley Library's contract proposal. The Friends of Natchez Library Coalition will be hoping at the meeting that the coalition will attempt to consolidate everyone's concerns in a 3-minute speech. Now, the new contract is a 3-tiered approach. The town would pay 75% the first year, 85% the second, and 100% the third year. Now, half the money will be due at the end of February 2026, the other half in the June of 2026. The new contract does not include any remodeling of the current building. The Friends of the Natchez Library Coalition believes that the council hearing from new faces could sway their opinions. If you're interested in helping protect the libraries, you can attend the Natchez Town Council on November 10th at 5:30 p.m. On to some education news this morning. Heritage University has announced a new online program. You can now obtain your master's degree in English over your computer from the university. There are 2 focuses of their studies: a teaching focus for those who want to teach, and a thesis focus for students planning to pursue a PhD. The first cohort of students will begin their studies in January 2026. A new geothermal energy project at Central Washington University is under construction and aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and limit air pollution in the area. KIMA's Aiden Connor spoke with a university official about the future of the project and how the university plans on taking advantage of new opportunities it creates.
Geothermal technology at Central Washington University has been in the works for quite some time.
A couple of years ago, we conducted a feasibility study to see whether or not geothermal would be the right solution for us, and we were able to get verifiable results that yes, we are on top of an Ellensburg aquifer.
CWU looks to reduce their greenhouse gas usage and find a more energy-efficient solution for their campus. According to the university, the majority of their natural gas usage goes towards heating buildings across campus.
As a result of being able to secure this funding to get the first GeoEco plant online, what this is going to lead to is reduced pollution, and it's going to lead to increased efficiency or building efficiency, increased energy efficiency for our most energy inefficient buildings, which will help reduce the amount of natural gas that we will need in this community.
The new GeoEco Center would not be the final piece, as the university plans to expand their project in the future.
And when one building is hotter than it needs to be, we'll be able to, real time, be able to bring down the temperature. It's all going to be communicating with each other. The systems will be able to communicate with each other. So in the next year or so, we'll be drilling and we will have a second GeoEco plant ready to go, which we're really excited about.
The new project will also open up opportunities for students to gain experience in environmental works.
In short, we are reducing pollution, but we're also leveraging these projects to prepare the 21st century workforce. We want to leverage every single sustainability project, such as this one, as an educational opportunity for our students so that they are equipped with the skill sets and competencies and experience for them to be successful in their careers.
The construction of the newest GeoEco Center is expected to be finished by the beginning of 2026. Reporting for Action News, I'm Aiden Connor.
KIMA's Aiden Connor, thank you. Now, the university's goal is to reduce greenhouse gas usage by 45% by 2030 and become a net zero carbon campus no later than 2050. Meanwhile, plans for a new nuclear power plant in Benton County continue to take shape. In nuclear reactors, energy is provided by uranium, and traditionally, control rods inserted into the reactor by humans are used to control the rate of reactions. But this system poses many hazards to human health. X-Energy, the company building the new reactors north of Richland, have instead decided to use uranium coated in a ceramic ball. These balls sit idle in the reactor and prevent the release of excess radiation in place of control rods.
As the reactor operates, it will operate at higher temperatures than today's reactor. Now, that gives you a lot of great advantages. One of those advantages is that in any accident scenario, the fuel itself and all of those high temperature tolerant ceramics are safe under any accident scenario with no human intervention whatsoever.
Now, construction hasn't started on the plant just yet, but X-Energy, along with their partners, Energy Northwest and Amazon, have already acquired a site and plan to have energy production online by the early 2030s. And with that, let's jump right over to meteorologist Jefferson Donovan. Jefferson, it is pretty cool to see all these sustainable energy projects really kind of ramp up in our neck of the woods. But what I wanted to talk to you about was this wind in particular, because we've had quite a bit of the wind. And honestly, I'm worried that if we keep the trend that we're seeing going, we're going to run out of leaves on the trees.
Yeah, I believe that the leaves are quickly getting blown off the trees. We didn't have much time to enjoy that fall color. Now, what I will say is that today is going to be a bit blustery. Not terribly windy by any metric, but again, a bit blustery on this Friday. And we'll talk about those forecast wind gusts for today in just a moment. Here's a look at temperatures, though, for today. We're all going to enjoy sunshine on this Friday as high temperatures do climb into the upper 50s to low 60s in the Tri-Cities today. Similar temperatures around the Sunnyside Grandview area, a smidge cooler into the mid to upper 50s in Yakima today. Low to mid 50s for the Kittitas Valley with daytime highs into the mid 50s for the Blue Mountain foothills again, as everybody does see sunshine overhead. Now let's talk about those winds. It is going to be a bit breezy on this Friday, not terribly strong on those winds, but we still could see gusts as high as 30 miles per hour today for the Tri-Cities, gusts up to 30 miles per hour in Walla Walla, with gusts to 35 miles per hour coming this afternoon for Ellensburg and Pendleton. Winds are going to subside as we head into this evening, and then tomorrow is going to be a light wind day all the way around. Now, I mentioned that winds are going to subside as we go through this evening. Overnight tonight with the light winds, temperatures are going to be pretty chilly with lows dropping into the upper 20s to mid 30s.
Thanks, guys.
For most of us, although the Blue Mountain foothills could be a smidge warmer. Now, tomorrow is a big day. It's the cross country state championships. The whole state is coming to the Tri-Cities to Sun Willows Golf Course. As proceedings get going tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with the wheelchair race, there may be a little bit of fog for the 1B, 2B girls races and the 1A girls race. We could be looking at more clouds than sunshine, but then by the time the 2A girls run tomorrow at around 10:30, we will start to break out to the partly cloudy skies. Then as the boys get going, first the 1B boys, then the 2B boys will be looking at mid to upper 40s with passing clouds and sunshine, and we will keep the passing clouds and sunshine for the 1A boys and 2A boys around your noon hour. And then as we get towards the later stages of the day for the 3A girls and 4A girls, we'll be looking at passing clouds and sunshine with low 50s. Low 50s will continue for the ambulatory and unified race. And then for the 3A boys and 4A boys, still looking at passing clouds and sunshine with temperatures potentially getting into the mid 50s. It will be an excellent day for a cross country race on Saturday. Around the region tomorrow, here's what you can expect. Low to mid 50s for everyone on Saturday. By Sunday, clouds will start to make a bit of a resurgence and temperatures will maybe back off by a degree or two, but in general, a pretty seasonal weekend. Let's take a look at the Storm Tracker Futurecast. No precipitation for today, tomorrow, or on Sunday. By Monday, there may be a little bit of light rainfall in the evening for the Blue Mountains and adjacent foothills, but that is about it. In fact, through next Wednesday, the weather conditions are going to be fairly stagnant. There is reason to believe that beyond next Wednesday, towards next Thursday and Friday, we could be looking at some pretty soggy weather across the inland northwest, but that is a situation we will track much closer next week. For right now, I'm going to toss it back over to Dave.
Thanks, Jefferson. We're going to move on to some election coverage this morning as votes continue to be counted. We'll start in Kittitas County, though, where the second batch of results have been released. Now, for Ellensburg City Council, at least, Nancy Lilquist maintains her lead over John Sinclair, receiving 54% of the votes in that race. The position 2 race is seeing a similar margin as Nancy Goodloe leads the way with 55% of the votes. Aaron Smith trailing behind with 44%. As for position 3, Delano Palmer is still in the lead with 57% of the votes. Sam Easel is 15 percentage points behind him. For the hospital district, Terry Clark is in the lead for the Commissioner 1 position over Daniel Arnold with 1,600 vote difference between the two. And Bob Davis holds a fairly sizable lead, nearly doubling Tom Hanna's vote in their race. In Yakima County, the latest release of election results were published there as well, and some of the races continue to be very tight with just a few votes separating the candidates. One clear-cut result, is Yakima County Proposition 1. Now, this was a non-binding advisory vote, which now goes to the county commissioners to decide if they wish to maintain the county's formal ban on the growing, processing, and sale of cannabis that has been in place since 2014. Now, the latest results show that over 16,500 voters were in favor of keeping that ban, 56% of them. Of the votes cast, just over 44% voted to remove that ban. The county commissioners will now consider the result. And despite more votes being added to both columns, Yakima City Proposition 1 still shows the same result and looks set to fail. 6,600 votes have been counted against it. That's just over 51%, with 49% of voters in favor of it. This was the proposed levy to increase property taxes to add to the general fund, looking to provide $6 million in additional funding. In the Lower Valley, the race for Mapton's mayor is heavily in favor of Martha Gonzalez, who has 67% of the vote compared to incumbent Rachel Rulas, who has 33%. As for Mapton City Council, though, it looks like it will have Sophie Sotelo and Mary Alvarado, who are leading their respective races. However, seat 1 is still a very tight race. Only 3 votes separate Ruben Alvarez and Diana Castaneda, with the difference going in Castaneda's favor. She's the incumbent in that race. And from Mapton, we head just north to Sunnyside, where they have some close elections in their school board races. For example, in District 1's race, it features Anna Cyans and Monica Guillen. They are separated by 19 votes, with Cyans taking the narrow lead in the latest results. This next one is for the District 4 seat. That's even closer. It has Sandra Zasadi and Steve Berg in that race. They have been within 1 percentage point of each other since the first results were reported. On Tuesday, Zasadi was ahead by 1. Wednesday, she was ahead by 3. And as of this morning, her margin has been extended to 4. 4 votes, that is. Meanwhile, Zilla's mayor race seems to have one candidate with a decent lead after being within 9 votes of each other on Wednesday. Current Mayor Scott Carmack now leads by 41 votes and has 53% of the vote over Jacob Castillo's 47%, rather. This is Carmack's largest lead reported in the election since the polls closed. Now, finally, we head up to Natchez, where there are 2 close races for the town council. Andrew Matala has 107 votes to Wayne Hover's 93. 14 votes separate the 2 candidates in that race. Meanwhile, in position 2, David Roberts has 97 votes. His opponent, Kit Hover, has 105. 8 ballots separate the candidates in that election. Now, just a reminder, with the latest data dump, we can get a better look at how voter turnout is across the area. In Kittitas County, it's sitting at 41% with just 85 or so ballots left to be processed. None of those races can change at this point. In Yakima, there's just 3,200 ballots left to count, and turnout is sitting at about 23%. Franklin County has over 400 ballots left, and there too at 23% voter turnout. Both stats are higher in Benton County with 26% turnout, 7,000 ballots to go there. Finally, Walla Walla has 5,600 ballots that still need to be counted, and so far 22% of the voters there have cast a ballot. A reminder, though, these results are not final. More ballots will be counted over the next several days. The election is planned to be certified November 25th. Now, many of the city of Yakima's facilities will be closed Tuesday, November 11th in observance of Veterans Day. That includes City Hall, YPAC, the Harmon Center, and Parks and Recreation offices. Business offices for the police and fire departments will also be closed. The City of Yakima Municipal Court will also be closed. Emergency services will remain available, though. Yakima Transit fixed route buses, Dial-A-Ride, and Yakima Ellensburg Commuter will not run Tuesday. However, the Refuse Division will provide regular garbage collection services on that day. All of the details can be found up on our website. The Yakima community will honor its veterans and all U.S. military by staging the 2025 Veterans Day Parade in downtown Yakima on Tuesday, November 11th. The parade is sponsored by the Veterans of Foreign Affairs Post 379 and will begin at 10:45 a.m. at the intersection of Yakima Avenue and 6th Street. The route will continue west onto Yakima Avenue to 6th Avenue, and it's scheduled to end at 12:30 p.m. Organizers anticipate about 750 participants and at least 50 vehicles in the parade. No traffic or parking will be allowed on Yakima Avenue between 6th Street and 6th Avenue from 8:45 a.m. on November 11th until the parade is completed. And this Saturday, rain or shine, the Downtown Association of Yakima will be partnering with Drink Yakima for their 9th annual Sip and Stroll. KIMA's Ty Therian has more on the event.
This year is the 9th annual Sip and Stroll event in downtown Yakima. This event is designed to get people involved and familiar with the downtown area. I spoke with the Downtown Association of Yakima Executive Director Kurt Wilson. Kurt explained to me the event in further detail.
Sip and Stroll is essentially a community event that helps bring exposure to the downtown and the downtown core and the people and the businesses that are down there. But we partner with Drink Yakima, the Downtown Association, Drink Yakima are partners together, and together we introduce people to also some of the craft beer scene that's going on, wineries, and also our spirits makers, those distilleries that are out there in Yakima.
Despite the name of the event, Kurt would describe it as more of a sip some more, and then stroll event. You aren't allowed to walk the streets with your alcohol, but you are allowed to enjoy it instead of all participating storefronts.
Part of the fun here at the Sip and Stroll is going to be the raffle. All participants who visit 12 of the 17 venues can turn in their ticket here at the Downtown Association of Yakima Day office. The winner of the raffle will receive a free flat screen TV. They will stop collecting tickets promptly at 5:40 p.m., so be sure to visit all your favorite venues before then.
Kurt knows that this is a fun event and it will help bring more traction to some of the stores in downtown Yakima. All of the money earned will be split between Drink Yakima and the Downtown Association. The Downtown Association will reinvest the money made back into the community.
I think the biggest thing is that it's just a fun event for people to discover downtown Yakima and discover that store that they didn't know was there. And so that's why we do this event, or I never knew that this beer was being brewed right here. And so there's a great learning experience there, and it's just a fun community event. You see your friends, and so come on out, Yakima, enjoy it, and we can't wait to see you.
Tickets are available online and in person and are only $25 a piece. With your ticket, you will also receive a commemorative slipping glass. Reporting for KMA Action News, I'm Ty Therian.
KIMA's Ty Therian, thank you. And for those attending, check-in will be at 16 North 3rd Street, just north of Ron's Collectibles. And finally, the Deserts Fiber Art Guild is setting up for their 13th annual fall market, selling locally made fabric, accessories, and clothing. There are over 2,000 items for sale at the event, and the Guild's focus this year is on sustainability. The event is highlighting how many of the items sold at the market are made from secondhand fibers, and they've labeled these goods with a green tag. The event will be today from 10 to 6 and Saturday from 10 to 4. For more information about the location, you can head over to our website. And that does it for us. Thank you for watching this episode of Keeper Quick. For more local news and weather, you can head over to our websites. It's keeperandkimatv.com, as well as our Facebook pages. But while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with our latest mini newscasts Monday through Friday. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody.